Welcome one and all back to F1 2021 and back to the F2 Hotlap and Setup Series. We're here in Austin, Texas at the Circuit of the Americas, ready for a lap in the F2 car, the Trident to be precise, racing around the 5.513 kilometre circuit, 20 corners, 2 DRS zones and a very, very difficult turn one. You can see the elevation there on this map as it rises up and it makes it very interesting on that opening lap and makes the start also all the more important. First Grand Prix in 2012, and our time put us into P2. It was 1 minute 43.142. That had just under a tenth of a second off that world record time. And I think the world record was in the lap. I've said it before, I'll say it again. But you can always find a little bit more time in the F2 cars. 9.8 for the aero, quite high to be precise. Mainly that final and first sector. 80% on, 20% off is the differential. Maximum front camber, minimum rear camber. Front toe started at the normal 0.07, and rear toe just that little bit lower, just helping the overall balance of the car. Suspension, front is soft overall, free for the front, anti-roll bar front suspension. The rear a lot softer. It gives a really good balance, especially through that mid first sector with the direction change. That front just helping with the responsiveness of the car. 58% is the brake bias, that nice sort of balanced braking you want. And then the fronts and the rears, sort of the normal 22.2, 22.7, unless it's full stiff. That's normally what we tend to go with. Out of the final corner, second gear up to third, DRS wide open, and running up towards turn number one. You can see we're gaining time. A good exit for us, and you're going to think about this braking zone. Braking marker just after the curbing on the right-hand side. Need to be very careful and keep it nice and tight on the inside. It's running a little bit wide. That allowed us to get a really nice exit. To be precise, you want to make sure you're flat all the way through turn two. And now it's thinking about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And just full commitment for these first two. Drop it down into 4 for a brief moment, straight back up to 5th. Just help with the rotation a tiny bit there. And finding about a tenth of a second up so far. Down to third gear for a brief moment once again as you now come up into 8 and 9. Really difficult. You want to be on the curbs to try and open up the corner as much as you can. But of course, that unsettles the car a little bit too much. Finding time though as you go through 10, down towards turn 11, another heavy braking zone just before the main DRS straight. Again, we almost give up on the entry to gain massively on the exit. It gives us a good exit and a good mid part to the corner, really. That's where we gain most of the time there. Again, so just thinking about not trying to send it in too deep, because F2 cars, if you go in too deep, they'll just understeer, they'll just push out. Just holding yourself back a little bit can really gain you a lot of time. Into turn 12, not heaviest braking zone of the lap. Again, spotting the braking point, spot on, turning nicely, just avoiding the sausage curve on the inside, and now down towards turn 13. And really difficult to wind on the track. Again, you're constantly turning and trying to wind on the lock. And again, another corner coming up to this very, very difficult turn 15. We gave up on the entry and gained massive on the mid part and sort of held it on the exit. Through 16, 17 and 18, we back off a little bit at the start, and that allows us to wind on the power and actually be full throttle for most of the corner as we now go into turn 19, the penultimate corner of the lap, spotting the turn in and getting on the apex perfectly there. Into the final corner we go, down into second gear. Ritz decided to step out a little bit, and I just lost about half a tenth there in the final corner alone. Again, if you add up the little bits of lap, we could have got the world record, but that's the joy of the F2 cars. It's so hard to string that perfect lap together. And overall, I thought the lap was pretty good, but nevertheless, it's just about making sure you can get everything all together at once. We'll have a look at the offboards, try and see if we can unpick a little bit more as we normally do. I'm liking this new sort of style this year of F2 Hotlap and setups I've gone for, looking at the offboards just to see what else we can gain, because some of them I think we really have. It just allows you to explain that a little bit better as you can. So getting up again, this is another corner. We lost a bit on the entry, but the exit is where we gained all the time back, and that's where we found got our delta all nice and positive. Good camera angle to see here. You want to get nice and tight on the apex. Use to the track limits and drop it down briefly just to help a bit of rotation, help slow the car down almost. And this is important corners getting to third. Get it to the left-hand side, then it opens up the right-left chicane. And you want to use all the track on the exit. But again, this is a really difficult part where you can invalidate. The whole of the first sector is really easy to invalidate. So you want to be on the limit, but it's a very fine margin of the limit. Nice and tight on the apex, and then that just allows you to get the nice line out, get the drive. And of course, with the F2 cars, there's no sort of energy system, so the exits are really important, it must be said. DRS wide open, and a long time to think about the braking zone down at turn 12. You can see when the DRS closes, just there, it's about the 100-meter board. Get the car slowed down, turn it in. Again, avoiding that sort of orange sausage curb, but be on the curb if you can. Messed up a little bit here. You want to probably be a little bit tighter because it allowed us to get on the power a little bit better, but it's such a difficult corner. Now into turn 15, take a nice wide line because it opens up the apex and the exit, and we did that sort of pretty well, I think. We gave up for this long sort of almost turkey-style corner, but the other way around. And we gave on the start of it, and we just full throttle now all the way to turn 19. Again, another corner you can be a little reserved about because you can really drive through it and allows you to get a good exit for the run to the final corner. We sort of bottled the final corner a little bit, it must be said. You see a big snap there. Lost us about half a tenth on that one. But overall, a good lap, a 43.142. Put a second in the world. Not too shabby, if I do say so myself. Of course, USA is happening next weekend. F3 was going to be there, but unfortunately, they went to Russia instead. We'll see everyone for the next F2 Hotlap and Setup video soon.